So next up for me was the movie Rebel Moon.
Yeah, John and I both watched that.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
It's on my list.
Oh, it's on your list.
Yeah.
All right, great. So this is a movie on Netflix directed by Zack Snyder. So it's very action-y. I started watching it with Eric, and I hate to keep reporting on Eric, like dropping out of things, but my husband sometimes is not that into it, and then he doesn't care how it ends, where even if I don't love something, I will still want to finish it just to see how the story plays out or what they were going for, whatever it is. But he's just like, I'm fine.
See, you're the data analysis that Netflix is like losing their minds over in the same household, or all streamers, because it's, what is it, retention and completion?
Yeah, he is
Which sounds sexual, but it's not. So basically the data is, does someone start a show and finish it all the way to completion? Once again, I'm saying sexual, and I don't mean to. So Eric is the one that starts it. They can't retain him. He's out. You, no matter what, want to go to completion.
Yeah, even if I don't love it, I'll still finish.
They need new terms. This is not sounding, I'm trying, this is their terminology, and I sound like inappropriate. But yeah, so you're what they love, because even if you leave it in your continued watching box, you are feeling like you need to go back and finish it. I am that way about 50% of the time. I mean, once again, there's a joke line there, but I'm just going to ignore it. So, so I think that that's interesting that you feel like you're their dream subscriber. You want to finish, whereas other people really do, because now there's so much content. You know, and also like, what are you in the mood for tonight? You know, it's sort of like, are you in the mood for reality? Are you in the mood for like sci-fi, drama, Hallmark? Like, there's so much to absorb. And if you are like us, we watch a lot of television. So sometimes, you know, like The Crown, I love The Crown, but it can almost put me to sleep. So there are times I'm like, because they'll have whole sequences of like the most beautiful music, no dialogue.
You're like, good night.
I have woken up on my bed and the laptop. I'm like, what happened? My God. And you know, there's jumping of ages. So I'm like, Harry's twice the size. Like, so
what happened?
You gotta go back. So, all right. So that I think is funny. So he started with you and did not.
Correct.
They did not retain him.
No.
To completion.
No. I think we got about more than 20 minutes. I think we were at least at the half hour, maybe at the 45-minute mark.
Lucky
and he
girl.
Was like,
all right, we gotta get back on track.
So anyway, he left. Very nice.
Okay, I've got to like reboot my brain.
Yeah, you're like turning into a 12-year-old boy. Okay, so I did watch the entire movie, and first of all, it's part 1. I guess there's going to be a part 2. So you guys both watched it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what's the first one called? It's like Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, which seems like kind of a long name. Is that the official name? Do we think that that's right?
Yeah, that's the official full title.
All right. I mean, I don't know if we need a part. Why part 1?
Because there's a part 2 coming. Would you stop?
Okay.
Just get ready
all
for
right.
April with part 2. It'll be
Oh,
fun.
that's quick.
I know. Wasn't it kind of long, though? Why didn't you just do it as a limited series? Because that's a different category. You want to do 2 movies instead of a 4-part or 5-part limited series?
Much more prestigious to do movies than it is to do a multi-part series. Plus, also then you aren't sharing the directorship. They're definitely going to split up some directing if you're doing 4 parts. They're like, well, we're going to give one of the actors a shot.
Oh, you
and the
are
producer
right.
would like a turn.
That's probably actually very true. All right. So part 2 is The Scar Giver. That's the next installment. Part 2. It is a lot of big world building. It's like a sci-fi opera, not really Star Wars-y, but in the, big story, a lot of meeting different characters and going to different planets. And there was a lot going on. As a side note of the cast, we got narration by Anthony Hopkins. And I think that was the device that they were trying to use to like explain a lot of stuff, which I guess I was like, I don't really need to know what outpost we're on or what planet this is, but I mean, there was a lot of...
You might.
Yeah, there was a lot of explaining of stuff. Maybe it was not necessary for me, but I don't know. What did you guys think about that?
There's theoretically maybe a trilogy, and then there's a trilogy of trilogies, possibly. So there's big ideas happening, is my point.
Wow. I did hear that part 2, so okay.
I'm sorry, a trilogy of sequels I got the quote wrong. Trilogy of sequels.
A trilogy of sequels.
Yeah.
So how many is that? I've lost count.
The point is, it is a space opera. There's going to be a lot. You need all this information.
Okay, space opera. I know, or space epic, or
I
don't
like
know.
space opera. So
I mean, that's a term
not
that people
a
use.
soap opera.
No.
but a space opera. Oh.
Whoa, that seems negative. It's just a space opera. That's a good thing.
Are there two brothers fighting over one woman, both married to her? They're not sure whose child she's pregnant with.
We basically just got the prologue, so we haven't got to that part.
Damn it.
Yeah,
See,
but
you
that's
need-
real
you
soap
need
opera-y.
that. You need that in a soap
Well,
opera.
that's why I like, instead of a space opera, which makes me think of soap opera, I like space epic, because that makes it sound like just a huge, expansive story. No?
I think the opera is what's throwing you off, and that's why Star Wars goes with saga.
Oh,
Because it's a
saga.
long-ass drama, and we don't know when it's going to end and who's going to win. We're paying attention for a long time to the story. It's
never
saga.
going to end.
Okay.
Never.
Exactly.
So cast-wise, it stars Sofia Boutella, who I know, I mean, she's done a bunch of stuff, but specifically from the Tom Cruise Mummy,
yeah.
The Mummy. How is Tom Cruise just like getting all over this podcast? What's going on?
I mean, more importantly, the Kingsman.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
With her freaking knife legs.
Yeah, I forgot that was her.
assassin feet, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yep, that's her. So
Ultimate
she's,
gardener. Just
Yeah. She.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I will hedge you to death. I will trim you. Okay, we just have to stop. Okay.
No one
We
listened
like
to
her.
Liz. Keep going.
We
No,
like her. She's
we
great.
like her.
Yeah. We like her. She's great. And she's a super badass with like.
Does she have hard
mysterious-
bangs in this?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's a
does she?
departure.
I don't think so. I can't remember.
Normally,
now.
she's got a strong bang story happening.
Well, she can pull off a bang.
She wears tank tops a lot. That's all I
Yeah, there's a
don't
lot
mind
of
a tank top.
Yeah, she's in really good shape.
Yeah, I don't-
and she's a fighting badass with a mysterious past. And
Wait, didn't we? I think we heard. Isn't she Scargiver? Didn't when they showed up later?
they were like, we found the. Wait, should we even be talking about this? For people who want to watch it, we shouldn't be talking about the spoilers of. Yeah, so she's a wanted fugitive, I think, is what we're getting at. All right, so also starring as the super bad guy is Ed Schring. Is that right, John?
I mean Dario Naharis, but yeah, keep going.
Okay. Oh, I was going to get to that. Okay. I loved in this movie from 2002 called I Used to Be Famous, which is also available on Netflix.
Might have been 2022.
Oh, did I say 2002?
Yes, but that movie is the best, and the music is the best, and the story is the best, and everything's the best about it.
It's really, really good. Okay, so that's called I Used to Be Famous, and he stars in it. And he's not a terrible, mean character in that, which he is a terrible, mean character in this. So be ready for some meanness.
He does a lot of back and forth because he was the villain in that first Deadpool. So he does villains, occasionally.
Yeah, when I was looking him up and it said Deadpool, I'm like, can't remember him from that. I only have this I Used to Be Famous in my head for him.
I think he would appreciate that.
I think he would. So he's great in this. He's very scary, though, and mean and terrible.
Okay, so are you going to get to the Dario Naharis crossover?
Yes, but then you can't get to the crossover part until you first say who that. Fine, John, you do it. You do it.
Obviously, you're guiding this, and I'm having
Okay,
nothing to do
there
with it.
is additionally in this movie, he's a Dutch actor, which some people might recognize him from Game of Thrones, where he played Dario Naharis.
He was the replacement of Ed Skrein.
He was the replacement. So that's kind of weird that they're both in this movie. But sorry, his name is Michiel Huisman. You can't say Michael, even though he says Michiel Huisman because he's Dutch. So that's why it was important to say that he's Dutch, because I was about to say his name very weirdly. I mean, not weirdly, but like if you look how it's spelled, it just looks like, how is that not just Michael, right? That's not. Michiel is what he says. Michiel.
Great job. I didn't know that, but now I do, and I really appreciate it because I like him a lot. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I looked him up, and I my very favorite is when the person says their name. And then you're like, oh.
For pronunciation?
Yes.
Got it.
And was this in the Guernsey Library and Potato Peel Society? Because that's your favorite movie.
What are you talking about?
It was just a crazy movie that it was like a normal.
What was the title again?
I believe it is the Guernsey Library and Potato Peel Society.
Wow. No.
Yeah.
I don't know him from
You
that.
missed that?
I should see it.
It's fun. It's fine.
That's one of those things like, they're always saying testing audiences and this. That was run by nobody. There's no
well,
way.
here's the deal. It was already a best-selling book, and I'm getting it wrong because it's the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, wait, now I do remember that.
Yeah.
It was like old ladies.
Oh my gosh, last thing. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Is it old ladies?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember it vaguely now, but now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and apparently the potato peel pie is super gross. That's part of the joke.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Ooh,
Well,
ew,
he
it
recently
sounds
was in
disgusting.
The Flight Attendant with Kaylee Cuoco. So that's where I was like, oh, yeah, I feel like I just saw you in something, and it was that. All right, and we've covered that he had this crossover in Game of Thrones, which is very strange. And John, when we were talking about this earlier, was like, I wonder if they talked about it. Like, you played this character for 3 episodes, and then I played him for like 18. That was weird. All right.
I bet they did talk about it. Yeah. I mean, how could you not?
Yeah. Okay, so did you guys have anything you wanted to add on this Rebel Moon? Thoughts, concerns? Excited for part 2?
I'm excited for part 2. It's just going to be rewatching part 1 and part 2 all over again.
You're very good about a rewatch in preparation for the next thing.
It's about being informed as to what the storyteller or the director really wanted you to pay attention to. It's essentially, they don't make previously on for the previous movies, and I'm very used to that in our television experience. Oh, wait. That's what's important from the last episode?
Yeah.
I was paying attention to other characters, but that person, that argument is coming up in this episode. Got it. That's why I watch the old ones, so that I get all that payoff when they actually do refer back to stuff.
Yeah.
So you need the Star Wars crawl at the beginning just to reset. Okay.
I do love a recap. Just give me a recap. I can't remember what's happened.
I like a recap or skip intro. Let me decide if I want to watch the recap.
Yeah, that's a good point.